The next segment, thank God we're almost there. We've only got one thing to go after this, but the next segment, I almost skipped Jericho and Wardlow after I saw this. I said, I can't watch this shit anymore. This was the worst thing they've ever done because it was needless. It was a poor idea at the start, and it was horribly performed, and it made their entire organization look like QT Marshall and that Aaron Solo and Comarato were there, but not a Go-Go because he's gone. A Go-Go's gone back to England. They never even mentioned Solo's name at the start. We were just supposed to know. But they're in the ring with Tony Schiavone. And instead of QT apologizing for whatever the fuck, he demands an apology from Tony Schiavone. And then, suddenly, old Comarato, the caveman, is outside on the floor and grabs some nebbish from the front row and throws him in the ring. And turns out it's Tony Schiavone's son, who looks 35 years old, has a long dark beard, is dressed in a nondescript fashion, maybe 5'9". We've never seen him. We've never heard him mentioned. He just happens to be sitting front row right now, and QT offhand says he's training to be a wrestler. And they beat up Tony Schiavone's almost middle-aged son. He had 5 kids when we lived in Charlotte in the 80s, so this kid's got to be 35 years old. They beat up the announcer's son in front of the announcer. They hold the announcer, Tony Schiavone, to watch that. No referees, no security comes out. The announcers nobody gets up from the desk. A policeman is not called. They're just beating up the fucking announcer's son that we've never knew existed until this exact second, and who looks like a man that could take care of himself against these guys. But how are we getting sympathy? It's not like they're beating up little fucking Tiny Tim with a bad leg, and he's 9 and he's small for his age. It's a fucking guy with a beard. Looks like he rode in on a fucking Harley. But suddenly, music starts playing, and here comes formerly the Big Show, now Paul Wight, walking slowly to the ring. Not in any hurry to save this young man.
No, and did you hear his music?
I actually wasn't listening. I was so disgusted. What was the music?
Well, we need something that sounds like that old song we can't use.
Oh, my God.
So we got something similar. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, awful.
So anyway, when he gets to the ring, Tony Schiavone is still in the ring on his knees, comforting his son 3 feet away from the heels that were just beating his son up. His son is sitting on the apron, not selling, just kind of like bewildered, sitting on the apron while he's comforted by his father. And Big Show chokeslams Solo, and the rest of the heels leave, and it's all over. And by the time that we see that, Tony's son's back on his feet, standing on the apron, leaning on the top rope like, well, geez, what just went on? Is that what this wrestling business is all about? This was the phoniest, fakest, stupidest, most illogical. This could never happen in a million years. It wasn't laid out right. It wasn't executed properly. It was stupid to do it with a fucking underneath guy like QT and Solo. This is something that the biggest heel in the company might get some heat off of doing, beating up the announcer's son, but not if the announcer's son is a 35-year-old bearded fuck wearing his fucking baseball cap on backwards like a goof. Who was the sympathetic figure in this? Tony Schiavone for standing there instead of running away?
Yes.